Welcome back. So normally when people think of healthcare, they may not include spirituality services, but at GBMC Health involves mind, body, soul, and spirit.
That's right, Shar. I had the opportunity to see the chapel at GBMC and learn more about their spiritual support services for patients. Take a look. We're standing in the chapel here at GBMC, and I'm chatting with the Director of Spiritual Support Services, Joe Hart. Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Great welcome to you.
Yes, it's so beautiful and light and airy and calming in here. Tell us about what you do in the Spiritual Support Services day to day.
In my role, I'm here to provide the spiritual and emotional needs of our patients and families, no matter what their particular faith or religious beliefs may be. When someone comes to the hospital, they're usually either in crisis or as a result of diagnoses or illness. We want to try to help alleviate whatever struggles they're going through. And so providing spiritual support by the patient or family's definition is our role and our goal in our care for others.
That's wonderful. And of course, you've been here for a little while. Tell us about how long you've been working at GBMC.
I'm starting my 25th year.
Oh, that's amazing.
And I'm from the area. And so the beauty of that is that I know so many families and situations have a long history. And so I feel honored to walk with families in the choices and in the experiences that they go through that many times is very unexpected. So.
Tell us a little bit about the chapel and how people utilize it. Who utilizes it?
Well, it's an interfaith, multi-faith chapel that is available 24/7 for people of all traditions. In fact, we have a Catholic service once a week. We have a Protestant service, Muslim prayers every day. We have Jewish minyan prayers on Fridays for Shabbat, depending on whatever the tradition may be. Christian Orthodox use it as well for anointing services, or just private meditative prayers, its primary use.
That's great. And there's even cameras here, so people who are in their rooms at their beds are still going to be able to access some of those services for themselves.
Absolutely. Our technology is wonderful. We have a studio here that allows us to project any service that occurs here to the patient rooms, to our over 300 patient rooms. Yeah.
I would love, if you could, for you to share a short story with us about just an example of what goes on day to day with spiritual support services.
Well, families come here, and they come from miles around, whatever. And so there was a little boy named Tommy. He was about 6 years old, and his grandfather was very ill. And his parents were very concerned that because Granddad was on a ventilator in the intensive care unit, that they wanted Tommy to be able to see their granddad, his granddad. And so, as a result, we were able to work out a situation that I was able to talk to him, and then he was able to see his grandfather in the intensive care unit. And when he walked in, his grandfather just took him by the hand, though he couldn't speak, but felt his presence. And that's really what this is about.
That's so moving. So tell us a little bit about the planning that went into this space, because it took a lot of planning. You spoke with a lot of different community leaders. Give us some insight into that.
Well, I consulted with all of our major religious leaders in the community of all traditions, and I asked them to look at our plans. These are the ideas we had, because my goal in helping to design it back in 1998 was that we wanted to be able to have everyone feel welcome here. And so we were able to accomplish that. I would have to say in 18 years since we've reclaimed it and named it, that it has provided a space with not one person saying, you know, I'm not comfortable there. And I feel like we've achieved that goal.
That's great. And what would you say is the general reception of the chapel and spiritual support services in general here by patients?
I think that it's very welcome, because we are open and we are non-judgmental, and we are there to provide service by the way that our families and patients define their needs.
We can't wrap up our conversation without speaking to your fashion sense. I love the bow tie. Tell us a little bit about the background behind this.
I may seem like a pretty straight-laced guy, but actually I love fun and I love bow ties. I also wear funny and funky watches, as well as funny and funky socks. And there's a reason, because when I'm with a patient, I can help divert them from what they're going through. And that many times is off-putting in a good way, that they get off thinking about, you know, I have a heart condition, or I have cancer, or whatever, and it draws them to say, well, let's talk about that, and tell me about what you enjoy, and then they can start talking about their kids, their grandkids, their family, their own stories, and that's really what that's about, which I really love to do.
Sure. So if we wanted to learn more, where would we go?
www.gbmc.org/spiritual support.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.